chronologically. And then The Spiral Path by Dr. Mann, or codenamed Dr. Mann, The Spiral Path. And then let's go down here and get the citations. So this way, everybody can see, hey, this is the citations. Dr. Mann's proposal. Item number scp-001, object class EMBLA. I have no idea what EMBLA is. I have to look that up too. Containment procedures. SCP-001 is contained on the grounds of Site 0 in upstate redacted. A fence has been constructed around the perimeter of SCP-01's observed effects. In addition to the Site 0 security, no fewer than 5 armed guards are to be present at all times to prevent unauthorized entry. The adjoining physics laboratory will be manned at all hours, studying any anomalies. A small metal plaque bearing an inscription will be maintained in good condition. Any damage is to be immediately reported to maintenance. What's EMBLA? Description. SCP-001 is a circular gravel path in a wooded area. When traveled in a counterclockwise direction, the trail is continuously uphill, even after reaching the original point. When traveled in a clockwise direction, the trail shows the same amount of uphill and downhill as expected. Level 5 clearance is required to access SCP-001's experiment log. New members of Overseas Council are required to read document 005-1. Should I read that? How long is it? Because I think that this extra stuff should be maybe at a different stream. Because it might mess up the momentum. This kind of seems like it's the actual SCP-001, huh? What do you think, anti-chat room? Well, might as well. Just out of curiosity. If you're reading this, then congratulations. One of us has died. Something killed one of us. A monster, perhaps, or a rival from the GOC. Or maybe we got a little too close, just a little close to the flame. Like Aaron. Not old age, of course. We took care of that, didn't we? Anyway, one of the old guard is gone. Maybe Jason, maybe Agnes, maybe me. Hell, I'd be surprised if I wasn't the next one to die. I always was the most expendable. I'm going to write this to you as though you are a human being. It will be the last time anyone extends you the courtesy, so I hope you appreciate it. Oh no. Is this one of those things where you work in retail and then you get promoted to customer because they fire you? Anyways, whoever you are, whatever you did before, you must have been high-ranking when you were pulled into this. You must have noticed the discrepancies, the inconsistencies. I don't know how much you've been told already or how much you've pieced together. The crux of the matter is this. The retrievals and recoveries of SCP objects are staged or made up whole cloth. We have never discovered an SCP in the entire history of the Foundation. I should start from the beginning. Let me tell you a story. Aaron Siegel was a physicist studying at Cornell in 1891. He was truly a gifted individual and had his life taken a different path. I believe his name would be there with Edison, Einstein, and Hawking. I knew him very well. He was and may still be my brother. I don't know if Edison belongs with Einstein and Hawking. He was also an avid amateur naturalist and enjoyed hiking through the woods. One day, while visiting our family home in Essex County, he came across a gravel path. He decided to follow it for a time and noticed that it kept climbing uphill far longer than it should have. It should have taken him above and nearby hills. Instead, he found himself back where he started without a foot of downwards travel. Another man would have assumed his senses were faulty and left. Not me, I would have gotten to the bottom of it by leaving. But not because my senses were faulty, but because I put all that effort and nothing changed. Aaron, however, was stubborn man. He investigated further. He found the path did not come from the pure geometry of Euclid like Sacheri before him. He had found something inherent in the nature of straight lines. He studied it. The equations he derived are the equations. There's multiple. He derived are part of the file you received. You'll learn them by heart eventually. He built a small shack nearby which served as a makeshift laboratory. His first experiments produced a key capable of opening any lock, now contained as scp-005. Oh, so the SCPs were created then. He brought in others. As his brother, I was one of the first he contacted. I was a medical student at Harvard at the time. I initially thought he was mad, but when he showed me the path, the key, I had to learn more. There were others with us, other friends and colleagues. Most of them are gone now, but we were the core. We created the foundation from around ourselves. In the beginning, it was just about discovery, about finding the things we could do. We had such high hopes, such plans. We were going to change the world. We were going to save it from itself. We could feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, heal the sick and dying. I bet you none of this happened. Thomas Carter found us money. We were none of us poor, but we ran through our fortunes quickly. Thomas used his connections on Wall Street and in Washington to fund us. He showed them the least of what we could do and promised heaven against the threat of hell. Yeah, there's always money for scientific discovery. Agnes Penderson, my brother's fiancée, was the administrator. We knew nothing of how to run an organization. We were a herd of cats running to and fro. She turned us into a foundation, putting us through us dreamers and madmen to the same yoke. We soon had a facility built, but we were still so secretive. As much as we wanted to shout from the rooftops, we were frightened too that it would be taken from us. We told ourselves it was just for the intern until we were sure of our footing. We showed them. Eventually, we'd show them. Yes, like all Sith, the one thing they feared was the loss of power. Tisk. We were careful at first. We made small, inoffensive, or even helpful items. The Fountain of Youth, the bouncing ball, the Civil War statue. We grew more confident and started working on humans. The Concrete Man, he volunteered. Or the man with the abdominal planet, just a drifter, but we made him something special, didn't we? Oh, that poor drifter. One moment you're just a drifter, and the next moment you have a planet for a stomach. I know that one. It was all so easy. Perhaps it seems absurd to get so many things from that one little break in reality, but it all flowed one discovery to the next. It almost seemed like something was helping us along. Ooh. Oh, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Unless it's not. Reality doesn't really have an intelligence behind it, so best not to anamorphize it? Morphize it? Make it human, I guess? I forget the word. Like Donkey from Shrek. But things started going a bit wrong. While he was playing with his equations, Aaron accidentally derived the missing number. In my laboratory, I found I made the zombie plague, but we were too invested in our project, so we pushed ahead. Then came the pipe nightmare and the stairwell, and we knew we needed more help. Thomas showed what we'd done to the military, told them we found these things, discovered them. We made up names like Prometheus Labs and the Chaos in Surgery. They gave us funding, personnel, we built up and expanded outwards. We repeated the cell in other countries. Some listened, some didn't, enough did. We became an international organization. We brought in more researchers, though very few ever suspected we were the source of these items they studied. Sometimes we would arrange for objects to be found by a field team. Sometimes we would simply write the reports. We generated the paperwork and we were the oversight. If we said a thing was, it still is. It'll continue to be as is. There were still problems, of course. Jeremy and Thomas took one of our experiments and ran off with it, creating their ridiculous club. One of our researchers grew mad and started worshipping machines, escaping with enough knowledge to be dangerous. We still deal with the fallout of these splinter groups. I wonder what experiment it was. And is the machine god that I've heard of the machine god? Is that how it started? So we contained them. We handled them. We couldn't stop. Sure, you can see that. Rather than more cautious, we grew bolder. I cut a little boy up and turned him into the flesh that hates. Oh, you dick. There were reasons. There were always reasons. 231, we created her and her sisters. We took them from the orphanage, arranged for what followed, and it was no accident. We knew what we were doing. There was a reason for it once, but I'll be damned if I can remember it now. None of us do except maybe my brother whatever he is now. We kept moving forward, even after Abel, after that blood pond, after that damnable reptile. We still moved forward with our work. What else can we do? Our only hope to survive the events we've set in motion is to understand better, to learn more. We're on the back of a terrible beast, and we try to jump off now, we'll be crushed beneath, not underneath. I'm not sure what the difference is in this context, but it's beneath. But that's not what frightens me, and it isn't what should frighten you. We've maintained our foothold for over 100 years. The thing I really care about are the anomalies we didn't create. No, I was telling the truth the first time. We didn't discover any of them, but some of them, they aren't our work. They're just were one day. They were in containment, and they've always been in containment. Don't you see? We're not in control anymore. We never were. I mean, you made the lizard. I know that one too. I do know some SCPs. I'm just trying to learn them all.